Today we are going to review a complete demonstration of Soleran's work orders product. Back on the web here, we're going to follow up on a couple of those preventative maintenance work orders we just finished up. So we can see under my view here that says my closed work orders, the preventative maintenance that we just closed out from our mobile application. We can actually see the preventative maintenance for the air handler, the corrective maintenance that we closed as a result of that preventative maintenance, and our exit signs that we used with our quick close here as well. Let's take a look at our preventative maintenance one that we first completed. I'll click on that work order number here. We'll be able to see all of our tasks, answers, comments, pictures listed here as well. See all of the details about that particular asset listed out here. For that year. One of my favorite things is that we can see our PM stage and PM result here. So it says that it was completed on time because it was due between the available date and its due date. And the PM result says repaired compliant because we had failed an item, but we have since resolved it. A way that we can check on that really quickly is to go to our child work orders here at the top. We can see that corrective maintenance and that it was closed from here as well. If we want to look at an example where we hadn't completed that corrective yet, switch here for a moment. Here we noted an item, our bolts is broken, right? It's going to say pending corrective action, right? Since it is not, the corrective associated with that is not complete. And if we had multiple corrective work orders to complete, it would wait until all of them are complete until it's going to say repaired compliant. If everything was compliant to begin with, it would just say compliant. Here's also an example of one that was been complete past due. Still complete, it was just past its due date when it was closed out. So it was closed in May, even though it was due in March. All right, a couple other things from a management perspective. You have the option here to manage templates, PM schedule templates, such as the air handling unit, rooftop that we looked at before. So if we search for that one here, we can manage that schedule globally from here, right? We can add new templates and things like that from here, and we can manage this globally. So if standards change, we had other tasks that we wanted to address, we can add that and then add it to all schedules and all work orders as well, if we so choose. So as administrators, you can manage that. You can also manage the schedules of each individual asset. So if somebody from your organization got a new role or left, you can make changes en masse to manage that schedule as well. We also have some tools and reports that are going to help you see your workflows, your workforce management and scheduling workloads for everybody to help plan accordingly and distribute the workload efficiently. All right, let's take a look at our planned events. Planned events are very similar to our preventative maintenance in the sense that they are also scheduled work orders. In this case, they just aren't associated with assets or pieces of equipment. They're just events. This is something that you can do for a variety of situations where you just need a reminder or have to address a reoccurring task, such as calling in a vendor to do an inspection. Maybe other things such as a grounds inspection, which we're not going to consider to be an asset. But we do need to do a regular quarterly inspection on our grounds. You can set up those as events and have a reoccurring schedule to those. So the event is very similar, therefore, to an asset. So if we look at a particular event, we can have a schedule associated with it as well. The event is basically going to have a name and a location associated with it. It doesn't need things like manufacturer, model, other specifications, risk information, things like that. We're just going to categorize them and have a schedule as well. So if we look at our schedule for an event, it's going to look very similar to our preventative maintenance. We have the option to associate it with a standard, an element of performance, or other standards as well. We can see here that we assign it to an individual, even someone who's perhaps a vendor, if it's something that's vendor inspected. We can see our scheduler and our task list are all the same. So you can manage that process in the same way, event schedule templates and event schedules from a management perspective as well. You even have that one-off button. What we're doing primarily with separating events is not treating them as equipment when they're not. It's also going to help in our reporting to have a barrier between those two options in the system. So if we switch here to our mobile application, we can take a look at what a planned event looks like on our mobile app. All right. Back on our mobile app here, we have our My Planned events over here as well. We're going to see them listed out on our to-do list report down below. And all we need to do is click on that. So I have a patient room inspection I wanted to conduct. I can open that up. We'll see our task list on the left and our answer pane on the right. It's actually going to function in the same way. So maybe one of our faucets is leaking, right, that we need to fix. We can pass and fail these in the same way, and it'll create corrective work orders for anything that fails on our list as well for us to follow up on those items. So you're going to have as many tasks, our patient room inspection is quite detailed here, as you want. When we click save, it's going to prompt us to enter in our time and mark it as closed, just like we did before. We'll click done and save, and it will complete that planned event, create a corrective work order assigned to us to follow up on that particular faucet that was leaking, right, on our list, submits our time as well from there. So it's a very similar process for our preventative maintenance, but we're going to keep it separated for our reporting purposes and more efficient to set a schedule than creating an asset. So if we follow up on that one back on the web here, sit through my screen. You can see my planned work order, right, that we just completed. We'll open that one up. Going to resemble very much our PM set of tasks, answers, comments, pictures, things like that. Going to be complete, past due, and pending corrective action in the same way here. I mentioned this briefly before that we can see where things originated from. So this one originated from an event. If we look at our previous preventative maintenance that we were looking at as well, it is going to say that it originated from an asset, right? And that child work order that we looked at for the failed item as well is going to say that it originated from a PM. There's also an example then of that parent work order, right? That's going to automatically make that association for you in the system.